Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I will introduce myself. My name is Anissa Delantamu. I'm from Chemistry Education Class A. I will explain about the practicum. The title modification of sulfur. Objective to study several modifications of sulfur. To study characteristic of my hydrogen sulfide and H2SO4. Literature review. Sulfur is chemical element in the periodic table that has the symbol S and atomic number 16. Its shape is non-metal which has no taste, no smell, and multivalent. Sulfur is multivalent to stainless and other less non-metal elements. The number sulfur valence from stars allows sulfur to participate in various geometrical properties, biosymmetry. Experiment work scheme. Modifikasi of sulfur. Blend 0,5 gram of sulfur in evaporation cup by heating the sulfur until it melts and let it freeze. Observe crystal strips. Heat 0,5 gram of sulfur powder in the test tube while shaking the tube. Observe the sulfur color change. Characteristic of sulfur acid. 1. Heat a piece of copper in test tube containing 1 ml H2SO4. Observe the activity in the test tube. 2. Place the filter paper mounted with Kr2CrO4 solution in the mouth of test tube. Test tube in the step 1. Observe the color change on the filter paper. Put sucrose into the test tube and few drops of concentrated H2SO4. Observe and take a note the activity in the test tube. Put 2 ml of acid into the tube and 2 ml of ethanol and 2 ml H2SO4. Heat the test tube burner, observe and take in the test tube. Modification of sulfur. In this experiment, two processes were carried out, namely the modification of sulfur and the properties of sulfur acid. And first, the sulfur which is still the powder from turns into yellow crystal because it is heated, which has original a solid to liquid and cold to form crystal. Characteristic of sulfur acid. In the second experiment, heating cover and the test tube containing H2SO4 in the solution bubbles formed and the black solution liquid for the properties of hydrogen and sulfur acid. Then, the filter paper was moistened with K2CrO4 produced by observing the change the color of the paper which indicated a reaction occurred. In the addition, in the reaction of sulfur acid which acts as the dehydrator for sugar, the reaction produces carbon with sulfur acid. Conclusion. Based on the experiment, it can be concluded that the modification of sulfur can be seen from the change in the structure of the sulfur itself, which is marked by a crystal form. Next, sulfuric acid has properties, namely as oxidizing agent, as a dehydration agent. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.